Welcome, dirty peasants, to episode 18 of the Wartwood Gazette podcast. This week we'll be covering Amphibia Season 1, Episode 9, Lily Pad Thai and Plantar's Last Stand. I'm your host, Thumbaticon, and joining me today we have Pixels,
Hello.
Nick,
What's up?
and Ben.
Hi.
Okay, so no news this week, at least from what I could think of.
Episode
Nope.
18 of the podcast.
Yep. So I guess we'll go right into Lily Pad Thai. So, Lily Pad Thai was written by Adam Colas, storyboard by Catherine Maruzik and Kyler Spears, and directed by Derek Kirk Kim. So the episode starts off with Anne and the planners in the kitchen. Anne showing off her chopping skills with the vegetables, and then it's a good time. It's the perfect moment for Anne to talk about her life back home, where she mentions that her parents run a restaurant, or a Thai restaurant to be specific, and that she would help out around the place. And then they were actually attempting to make pizza, but Sprig unfortunately messed up the recipe.
Gosh,
So with no
Sprig.
Dang it, boy. But
Boy, right.
So with no other options, they decide to go to Stumpy's Diner, and it's not in the best condition. The food doesn't seem that good. The interior is not up to safety regulations either, but regardless. So while they're ordering, they overhear a critic, a newt named Albus Duckweed, complaining to Stumpy about the food. And, Anne, since she's worked at the restaurant, she can naturally smell out the Karen. So she decides to confront Duckweed to try and about his comments. But then Duckweed, he just starts taunting her back, and then Anne's pride is challenged. So then she challenges him to give a few days for her to help turn the place around and then get that good review. But then Duckweed is pretty sure that he'll just give a terrible review and put Stumpy out of business. And of course Stumpy had no say in this deal, unfortunately. So Anne kind of realizes that she kind of jumped into Anne kind of caused this problem. So now she's gotta make things right. So she decides to show up the next day early in the morning to help Stumpy out and fix the restaurant. So we get a little quick montage of Anne and Stumpy cleaning the place up, or more specifically Anne. And then as the montage proceeds, Stumpy eventually decides to join in and help Anne and gets motivated to clean up the restaurant. So the place looks nice. Well, the place is clean, at least. But then Anne decides that they need to go further, and a total makeover is required. So I think it was the 2 days pass. The residents gather around. They notice that Stumpy's Diner has gotten a major makeover. It's now also renamed kind of Lily Pad Thai, and it's a blend, I guess, of Amphibia or Wartwood and Thai cuisine, and everyone seems to be having a good time. And then Duckweed reveals himself to be hiding under a makeshift frog costume to get an authentic experience. But he's still, despite everyone else enjoying the food and the place, Duckweed is unimpressed. So then Anne and Stumpy decide to cook. I'm trying to look for the recipe. It was like a calamari. It was some sort of calamari
Yeah.
meal, except in this case, it's in Amphibia or Wartwood's case, it's using a kraken. So they deliver the kraken to Duckweed, and it's revealed to still somehow be alive, even though it probably was boiled. But regardless, the kraken attacks, grabs the planters, grabs Duckweed, and then Anne feels bad that she like kind of caused these events to happen, but Stumpy like comforts her and he's like, all right, let's just focus on saving all these people. So they engage in battle against the Kraken and grabs the lemon juice. Like Stumpy like switches out his like frying hand into like the meat tenderizer. They beat him up. They beat up the Kraken. Kraken's defeated. War, Duckweed actually like loved this attraction of the food trying to eat him, and like I don't know, his inner like the critic in him just loved the irony. So he goes off to the actual message board to write his review. Uh, everything works out in the end, and then the episode pretty much ends with like that gag of like her. Well, Stumpy tells like Anne that like, oh, if your parents saw this, they'd be proud. It's a nice, sweet moment. And then they shake hands, or they shake hand and carved hand, which is revealed to be carved from the bones of Stumpy's original hand. And that's Lily Pad Thai.
Jesus.
So yeah, this was a great episode. Funny. We got to explore outside of the. We got to like have like a little adventure with the one of the residents of Wartwood. This case being Stumpy, being the first. Uh, the humor was on point. Like I like Duckweed was voiced by. I'm looking up the actor.
Very popular VA. So
Kevin McDonald. I remember him from like
yeah.
him voicing Pleakley from Lilo and Stitch. Like it's instantly recognizable.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, that's where I could recognize it. Yeah, because it was just in the back of my head. Like I was trying to figure it out, like where I've heard him from. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Definitely Peakley then. Yeah.
Yeah, and I liked how because like in past episodes, like we've seen Anne like try and incorporate a part of her home life in Amphibia, and it kind of backfires. But in this case, it turned out for the better, which is nice.
Yeah.
Like Anne is able to share her culture with this world via the food, and with the exception of the Kraken, but like that was a little bit that was beyond her control, I think. So like I think it wasn't the episode frames it as if Anne made like a big mistake, but she didn't really. It was actually a really like sweet episode where instead of like things spiraling like completely out of control from her like ego, it was just like a minor mishap, and she was still able to like Stumpy like it didn't take long for Stumpy to get on board with like Anne's optimism, which is nice.
Mhm.
And yeah, I think I've said enough for now. Ben, what were your thoughts on the episode? Ben, you there? Oh, his mic's muted. Okay. Nick, what were your thoughts on the episode?
I'm
Oh, oh, Ben. Okay,
sorry.
good.
I forgot it was muted because my dad was in the room. Uh,
Oh, no worries.
yeah, I liked it. It was a good episode. Yeah, like as you said, like typically past episodes, like Anne tries to bring like part of her home life, be it her cat or her or what else. Just
Uh,
part of her life from
the
her
pizza.
from yeah pizza, and typically like the part of Amphibia that she tries to mix it with like ends up backfiring. But in this case, aside from the Kraken just not being dead at the end, like this whole experience actually wasn't that bad because it all pretty much worked out. And like Stumpy was in with it in the end. And yeah, I did like how Duckweed wasn't just like automatic, wasn't they didn't do like the kiss up to the critic route at first, but they went with giving him a disguise. And
Yeah, the disguise was like a nice touch.
the planners weren't really in this one that much, but I feel like that was kind of a good thing because like this episode wasn't really like about them that much. It was mainly about Stumpy and Anne.
Yeah,
And,
give Anne. Yeah, I was just gonna
Like-
say, give Anne a good chance to branch out. This, someone who's not the Plantar family. I think, I guess we could say that this was like the first genuine friendship she made, like outside of the Plantar family, actually.
Yeah.
yeah, pretty much because she didn't really. I don't think she really interacted with Wolfie that much before this. Like in this episode, Wally is like a gag character where he was like a pest that was infecting the restaurant. Because
Yeah,
they
they
made
washed up the Wally.
As he shoved the
Wally
mop into his face.
and he was and Stumpy was like, "You scrubbed the Wally out," and then he's like, "That's what
Yeah, he was
you
like,
think running
yeah,
around
then,
in the
yeah,
kitchen."
Yeah, then he was running in the background. Like, I swear, it's just crazy that I don't know. These two, they had like, I feel like they sort of had this feud going on where they throw slander at each other. It's just crazy that they both managed to actually become friends. Like, it's like I feel like yeah, Wally's probably her closest friend out of the Plantar family. Like, that's just it's just fun. It's just funny how things started between them because I swear it was like almost every single episode you either had one of them making fun of the other.
Yeah, Wally had a lot of like minor appearances in these episodes, like in season 1
Yeah.
before his standout episode. But Nick, what were your thoughts on the segment?
Okay, Lily Pad. I guess I have like two different main things. I just want to say, like, I guess I really just want to focus on how the episode opens up with like Anne helping Sprig make a pizza and Anne just helping Hop in the kitchen in general. Like, I just really think that just connects back to what you were talking about back when we covered Anne versus Wild. Like, she's slowly trying to become like a more active member of this family. Like, she's actually willing to help them out. And I just felt like, well, I just really appreciated the fact that Lily Pad Thai opened up with it because I've generally been enjoying looking at season 1 and just seeing how not only Anne progresses herself, but also just like her relationships with everyone else in the show. So that was pretty cool to see. But then the whole Stumpy segment, like, really love that because I'm not like Ty myself, but like I can feel happy for people who generally like appreciate Amphibia for like having this in a story. Plus, like, I've always loved the fact that Amphibia has been such this. I feel like in a way it always has been like a super personal story to Matt. So I do love the fact that he was also able to add this extra level.
Yeah, I'm guessing like this probably was a really important episode for Matt just to like infuse some of Thai culture like on the like in the before it was mostly just like references, but like at least here like it played a lot more direct role in the story.
Yeah, here he was able to like just directly do the culture into the episode as part of it. Not. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, didn't Matt and Brenda's song do like a whole promo for this, or no? Was it just Brenda's song? 'Cause I feel I just remember like they were promoting like Lily Pad Thai,
like I remember they're doing something like they did a clip about like Thai culture, and then they featured a lot of clips from this segment.
Oh, here it is. Yeah, celebrating Thai culture. Yeah, man, that's a throwback. It's been over 2 years since that came out. Wow. It was right when Amphibia was airing too. Oh man. But yeah, that was What that's I can't. I mean, not to get us off track, but like I still can't believe it's been over 2 years in Amphibia. Like that's still crazy to me. But yeah, honestly,
Damn.
like I can't relate to any of what I saw on the show. But I really just appreciate the fact that there probably are lots of people out there who felt happy about being able to see their own culture represented on TV and not be like. And not feel forced, not feel like it's being mocked. No, it's just a celebration of a part of Anne that she generally appreciates. So I do feel happy that we got to see this in the show.
Pixels, what were your thoughts on the segment?
It was a really great episode to see. The what was the expected name again? Sorry, my mind's gone off to space real quick.
Wait, what were you asking?
What was the food critic's name again?
Oh, Albus Duckweed.
Oh, Duckweed. I love how we got to hear Duckweed's voice actor again because I'm glad they chose him as Duckweed's voice actor. It fits his character really well. What the show he's presenting.
Really?
It's really well paced too. This episode's really well paced. I love how in the beginning it felt like Anne was being selfish again, but she's like, "Oh crap, I got myself into this. I'm gonna help.
It was kind of like a good selfish because
right.
she wanted to help. She both wanted to help Stumpy make it better, but also was getting angry at Duckweed.
Yeah, because Duckweed insulted her, and then that's when Anne took it personally.
Yeah, because he straight up insulted her family. Like he said, he said he told Anne that her parents diner was terrible or something, right? Like, so I really can't blame Anne for jumping the gun, but I really like what you said, Pixel.
Right.
Like it was like she was taking. I feel like she was aware. It's like she just suddenly became aware of one of her biggest faults, like her impulsiveness. Like, I really do like that idea.
And also the battle between the Kraken. I don't know how they find this giant lemon. It's a very big lemon.
I mean, the tomatoes in Amphibia are big already, so why not? Why not the lemons?
Fair enough. It is Amphibia after all, so they did make an alien reference with the eggplant. So who knows? It was.
And Stumpy had the anime noise when he pulled out his meat tenderizer. But sorry, Pixels, continue.
Yeah. Also,
he murdered that thing, right? Like that's pretty much like, I don't think he's getting back up. Like he probably should just bash the Kraken's head with his meat grinder. Jesus, Stumpy.
And also, Anne's a really good cutter when it comes to chopping stuff. You know how crazy she chopped that onion or whatever it was. She just
I think it was an onion. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Probably comes from helping her. Yeah, she said she came from her helping her parents in the kitchen.
Mm-hmm. It's a really great episode, and I like what Matt did with it. Like what you said, it almost kind of felt personal, and I see that. It's great. It's great.
Yeah.
And coming back to Duckweed, this was the first time we saw a newt on the. Actually, other than Emma the Newt, this is the first time we saw an actual newt character in the show, which is interesting because the first thing the planners talk about him was that hold on, I have the quote up here. So yeah, Polly mentions he thinks he's better than everyone else just because he talked good.
Just because he talked. I love that line. But yeah, it's super interesting because the whole idea of there being a separation between races, it was always, it's not super ingrained in where a newt sees a frog and that frog steps out of the way. It's not like that, but it's like there's I feel like there's definitely like that subtle. I'm not gonna say like arrogance, but like, there's like I feel like the people like newts they take up like the more technical jobs, like I guess like critics, governmental positions, like they take up more I guess specialized work like that compared to
White
frogs
collar?
picking up farm work. Yeah. Oh, what did you say, Tom?
Oh, like it's more like a white
Yeah.
collar jobs or roles.
Something like that. Yeah. That's what I should be going for. Yeah. Yeah, it was just pretty. I mean, it's just pretty. I guess it's just pretty interesting to look back and just see that like all that stuff was always there. Like I never caught on to it when I feel like when I was first watching, I was just assuming like everyone's a frog. Like I didn't really care about like which species. Well, like I guess I didn't really care about like which species was which until we got to toe tax, and I just started really realizing that there's something going on here in the political scheme of Amphibia.
Yeah, like in toe tax, that's when you get the idea, okay, there's frogs and there's like toads, and then like that's what clicked in my brain. But then like way down the line, when we got that like first reference to Newtopia, that's when I realized, okay, there are newts like somewhere else. And they are apparently like running the whole thing.
Oh my gosh, like living in an advanced society. I mean, it's not as great as it was 1,000 years ago, but it's still like, holy crap. It's much better than what they have in Wartwood.
Yeah. And this episode like episode was executed well, and
Right.
it kind of when I think about it, like I'm thinking about how this should have been the route that New Wartwood should have taken when doing their episode with Marcy. I mean, I guess in this case with Anne, like Anne has the interpersonal like skills to pull this off. While like meanwhile we saw like in New Wartwood, like Marcy started off small and then like she like her improvements like exponentially increased too quickly for the town to catch up. But like here like Anne's influence was like contained and specialized to Stumpy's needs, and like in the end like her vision at least like succeeds in some way, since like Stumpy's like redesign stays consistent for the rest of the series. So like I don't know, I thought about that a little bit. I think maybe in this case like Anne had the ability to like Anne was able to pull this off in a way where Marcy's version of introducing elements back home into Wartwood, that version failed, but like Anne was able to pull it off. I don't know.
Yeah, man, I didn't even look at it like that. Yeah, this sort of is in a way like Anne's new Wartwood, where she like, I mean, like most of her motivation to help just comes from her like, I guess her own like impulsiveness or desire. But it's like, yeah, I can really see the connection between this two. But yeah, no, I really do agree with you there because I feel like and she was just focusing more on like what Stumpy would need at the time, and they just they progressively changed things. Like we got the whole montage, we got the whole montage, just like I'm showing off everything Ann did for Stumpy, and I just feel like we actually got to see Stumpy like slowly open up to Ann, get more comfortable with her actually changing things around in his restaurant. Then just compared to Marcy, Marcy sort of just. Yeah, at the start when she's with Anne, they're like working on things progressively that actually need help, and then like later on when she works with Toadstool, like she just completely overwhelms Wartwood with all these new ideas that like no one was really asking for.
Yeah, she like
Oh yeah,
Marcy at the time literally like almost sank the town.
Yeah. Almost like the
yeah.
time got help.
I like how you brought up how like Stumpy was like okay with like her changing it around, because like when she was finished cleaning it, Anne was like, "This is still a place of broken dreams," and he was like, "Yeah, that's fair." And then and then when she pulled out the blueprints to change it, he was like, "Oh, this is gonna be a lot. I'm gonna need the hammer hand," and he swaps out his attachment for his
For his hand, yeah. Yeah, which is, I like how, despite like Stumpy's exterior, like he was probably the most accepting for change compared to like the rest of the town.
Yeah, he was pretty quick with Anne.
Yeah,
He really liked
yeah,
that Anne was helping.
Yeah, I feel like at
Yeah,
first he was just being all stoic and like the tough guy, but after a while, like she really grew on him. Because I feel like part of Anne's effect on a lot of people, right? Like she's very like she's easily likable. Like I feel like that's undeniable, just what we see in this show.
Right.
Yeah,
And
it's just.
and
Oh,
in a
go ahead.
way, this episode kind of felt like a season 1A, a 1B episode where after Toe Tax we had that shift where we had a lot more episodes of Anne bonding with the townies. This episode, if it was in like 1B, it wouldn't feel out of place at all, but I don't know, I guess it was nice to get it ahead of time.
Yeah, I guess it was like it was sort of like like a small tease what we'd be getting in the future. I guess. I mean, no, I'll just make this point. I'll just make this point next week. But like, yeah, I just keep
Yeah.
going back to your like new Wartwood, lily pad tie comparison because it just makes me think. Like when you just think about the two different specific things that like Anne and Marcy brought when they wanted to change things for the better. Like Anne brought just stuff from. It's just I feel like it just plays on both of their characters, like the differences between them. Like unlike Barcy, like Anne, generally still wants to go home and she misses her home. And so she brings, her culture from home here. But then like you look over the Marcy, like, she's in love with
Gentrification.
Amphibia. Yeah. Like straight up, like everything she just brings in, it's from like basically Utopia, right? Like it just comes from Amphibia itself. Like there's nothing really that Marcy's missing back home to bring in here. Like there's no signs of that. And I just feel like that's just a really good observation. Like I feel like that's just a really good observation you might have made there. But yeah, it's just I don't know. I just feel like that's just like another. I don't know. It's just man. It just feels like so many clues about Marcy were just out there, but like in a way
From
maybe we weren't
second
paying
base
attention
to
enough. Like
home run.
I don't even know.
Oof. Jesus.
It's just it's just a shame. It's just a shame. But like, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. That just popped in my head just now. Just when Anne misses home, like I guess just when Anne wants to change something from like just she wants to change something for Wartwood that like relates to her, that like something that she's already that's something that she already knows, something that she misses. It's just from home. Then like Marcy, she's just straight up. She's just like Utopia. Like it's like Utopia really was that dream life. But should this turn into like the Marcy talk about? Yeah.
Especially when Anne and Marcy started communicating, and basically Marcy was saying, "But don't you want more of this?" Like,
Yeah, it's worth noting that like I think I know we're getting into like New Wartwood talk, but like in New Wartwood, Marcy's like improvements were pretty like substantial for the town when Anne was helping her out, and like when Anne was like showing Marcy around town like what needed to be like improved on. But then like once you removed Anne from the equation, like Marcy like went out of control. But then at least here with Anne, like Anne's motivation for helping Stumpy isn't a bunch of statistics or efficiency. Just Anne saying, okay, like what if we just clean this place up and add some like Thai food?
I think it was just
worked.
I just felt like with
simple.
Anne, it was just it was just like, I feel like with Anne, it was just like pure collaboration. Like because I feel like with almost every major change that she wanted to make to Stumpy's restaurant, like she showed it to him, like she presented the idea to him, and like he worked with her on that. So I just feel like that's why I feel like things never got too out of hand with both of them. Like they were just both being communicative. Like they both worked things out, probably compromised here and there, and just got things done. Then with Marcy, she just basically overwhelmed Wartwood. She I don't know, maybe she just mapped out like the best possible way to have Wartwood accept her based on her changes. But yeah,
Right. Anne was listening to her heart and not her head, while Marcy was not listening to her heart, listening to her head. Think about
Yeah.
all the possibilities.
Anne was also only doing like one area, while like Marcy was just straight up doing the entire
Gentrification.
town.
A bunch.
Oh, I like Polly's line, assassinating your critics. I love it.
Yeah. Polly is amazing.
yeah, I know. She has like so many good one-liners in this season one. Like I feel like everyone always like talks about how funny Sprig is. I feel like Polly's definitely underrated compared to Hop
she'll
Pop and
kill a
Sprig in
guy.
terms of humor. Like, yeah,
She'll
Have you
kill a
ever
guy.
killed
I'm
a
all
guy,
for it.
Hot Pop?
man. But, like I never realized just how funny, just how much of a solid, like hilarious character Polly was in season one. Like I feel like it's just too easy to miss out on her because she's just the baby of the family. But yeah, she has like so many killer one-liners.
Literally, she was talking about killing.
yeah. Oh man.
I like the garbage gag too. Like,
Oh yeah, yeah.
just
He's like, I knew that
pops
would
out.
happen. yeah. And somebody's like, yeah, I knew that would happen. Like he's just laughing at her. Stop. It's just it's just the humor. Like season one just has like solid humor. Like it's just straight up.
It also has good character development, which I
Yeah,
really
that's true.
love too.
Yeah, and I just love the fact that you can just see it here. Yeah.
So I think. Any final thoughts on?
I just wanted to make a quick theory about Stumpy. Okay. I've never said okay, but here's the thing. Like Hop Pop said, like let's just say like it happened 5 years ago. Hop Pop said like 5 years ago, Wartwood was attacked by giant herons. Okay, and there are a lot of members of Wartwood who either have like a parent or two missing, and they're characters in Wartwood, who are like amputees, right? So like,
injuries, yeah.
Stumpy, he's missing a couple limbs. Is all I'm saying. So I'm just saying maybe the heron attack had something to do with that. That's just my theory.
I don't think they ever actually said how he lost his hand or foot.
Yeah.
So yeah, he could have lost it to the heron.
And Stumpy has his scars too.
Yeah, he even has the scars to prove it too. Yeah.
And
battle scars.
Sadie knows a lot, so she's been here for a long time in Wartwood, so she probably seen what happened.
Yeah. He just seems like one of the types of he just seems like he's been there for a while. That's what I can say. He's part of the town's history at this point, our culture. Yeah, final thoughts about RGO. Thai representation is good. Yeah, we got to agree there.
Oh yeah, RG's our resident Thai expert. So I think we can go on to Planner's Last Stand.
Or Capitalism the episode, I like to call it.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
So Planner's Last Stand was written by Gloria Shen, storyboards by Jen Strickland and Steve Wolfhard, and directed by Bert Yoon. So the episode starts off at the food market. We get that funny joke of Sprig trying out the samples. Mrs. Croker heads over to like the planter stand, and then Hop Hop helps her out to find that a vegetable that isn't maggot infested. So we get that motto about planner honesty, and how like the stand has been the backbone of the planner family for generations. And then we find out Toadstool is increasing the rent or the food stand tax. So
Quadruple.
yeah, quadrupling. So Hop Hop starts freaking out, and then Anne proposes to basically lie about what the what Hop Hop's vegetables could do, because she extracts the juice from like one of those veggies, puts it in a jar, labels it like
And
Palmer's.
creates V8.
Yeah,
Oh my
so
god.
planners potions, which Hop Pop's kind of hesitant about. He kind of struggles at first, and then like Anne gives him a pep talk while Sprig entertains the crowd with his fart music, which is a
Standing
that's
ovation, by the way.
yeah that's gonna get nominated for a Grammy for sure.
Yeah.
And so then Hop Pop
Sorry,
goes back
Dada.
out there, and then he starts hyping up the potions, and
He starts channeling his inner Stan Pines.
yeah, his inner shady car salesman, and, and then
It's
he grabs
preacher
that
like.
baby's. What was that, Pixels?
I said it's almost like preacher like. Like, you know what I
So
mean?
yeah, I know what you mean. So he grabs like some baby's hat, puts on his dealer persona, and he like starts to embrace the snake oil business.
Oh my god.
So these sort of like the townsfolk like love these planner potions, of course, because Hop Pop is claiming they can do a lot of things that probably aren't true. We get that
It's like
montage.
it's like jelly juice. You know, you guys know what the jelly juice segment from Dr. Phil?
I was thinking about like those like jelly cups that you could just like push inside your mouth. But
Yeah.
so yeah, like Hop Up goes on. He kind of loses it, and eventually they run out of like vegetables. So then like Hop Hop starts he starts improvising, just grabs a bunch of trash lying around and tosses it into the mixer, and starts having doubts about like giving Hop Hop this idea. And then the next day, so Hop Hop presents this new black version of the potion planner's
God.
potion, which is
Tar.
yeah,
It's like
yeah,
tar.
it's not.
Just horrible.
Yeah, we get that brief teaser of like the flies like approaching Sprig that night, and then Mrs. Croker arrives, who's been the planner's like most loyal customer, and she doesn't believe in she doesn't believe in these potions, but since Hop Pop's selling it, it must be true. So then Mrs. Croker she buys the last jar, and then like Hop Pop's conscience starts kicking in, and then eventually at the last moment he smacks it onto the ground and comes out with the truth. But then by then it's like an army of flies descend onto the food market, start grabbing people. We get that quick once again we get Wally getting pulled away, and he makes that quick line about the irony of the flies grabbing him, which I thought was a nice connection to Lily Pad Thai. And then eventually Hop Pop leads the crowd away by rolling like the barrel, like the main source of this disgusting potion, chucks it off chucks it off the cliff. The flies grab it and they head off into the sunset. So, yeah, Hop Pop realizes the error of his ways. We cut back to the next day, and then Hop Pop's giving everyone a refund. Mrs. Croker is, while she's mad that she was lied to, she's happy that he did the right thing in the end. But unfortunately, Hop Pop can't pay the tax, so he basically closes up shop, heads out, realizes the the weight of unemployment, and that's Palmer's last stand.
Ironic.
So yeah, I know this episode was
Batshit crazy, but I love it.
yeah, like Hop Pop was definitely. You could argue that the show kind of moves back and forth between Hop Pop being like an honest, hardworking frog and sometimes being a little bit. Uh, I don't want to. I guess you could say he's also broke. So, and he kind of sometimes might skim the lines between the legalities of currency, like with his IOUs. But in the end, he's just a good like. I still like this episode. I don't think it backtracks on Hop Pop's character because the desperation of money and just to keep his like business afloat. Like I can understand why he got caught up in all the money. It sounds like we're talking about like some kind of like drug dealer, but
Dude.
Breaking Bad, but Amphibia.
Anything.
I was thinking about Big Smoke from GTA.
Sprig is Jesse. My God.
Take it,
Frig.
Sprig. All you had to do was follow the damn train.
It's
But yeah,
What have we been smoking?
I like this episode, and ultimately, it was this was the starting point of basically the revolution that happens later on in the show.
Yeah, like this is directly what causes it. I mean, I feel like and not even just that. Also, it's mentioned that freaking what was his name? Like Toadstool. Like, I forgot his name. But yeah, he starts like quadrupling like the tax. I thought like, hey, maybe that's a connection to toe tax when he starts trying to hoard in like more money from like the townies. Like I'm thinking,
you know
hey,
what?
yeah, I'm just thinking. So it's just funny how like I feel. It's just funny that you can say sort of maybe like the main meat of season 1 just starts with this one episode where Hop Pop loses his shit and pulls in a grunkle stand. Like I just like how you can say all that just comes back to this one episode.
Yeah, and Nick, what were your thoughts on this episode?
Honest, I was just laughing the whole time just because like just to see Hop Pop. I don't know. I feel like it's always great to see this sort of lack of morality in Hop Pop where he just like skirts the line between like, good and wrong and just completely loses himself in his delusion. Like I don't know. I guess it's just kind of funny to see Hop Pop and Grunkle Stan in this episode. Like I don't really have any like I guess like critical thoughts about the episode, but I don't know. I was just laughing. It's just pretty, but it's also just pretty weird to think that like this is the starting line that sets up the rest of the season. Basically, just that one moment where Toady just pops in randomly into a scene. Hop Up's already tired of this guy. Like, what did he say? He said like,
He wants to run away before like everyone finds
like,
out the bad news.
Yeah, he was like, "Bad news, everyone! Bad news! Gonna run away before you see it." Like, it's just funny to me that it's just this one scene that basically sets up the rest of the season. Like, literally everything. That one interaction between Toady and Hop Pop. I feel like I could confidently say that because like if that scene never happened, Hop Pop would have never pushed himself to go lie to the whole town about his remedies. But yeah, I don't know. I don't have any written thoughts about this episode, but I'm just gonna say it was funny.
All right, Ben, what were your thoughts on the episode?
Yeah, I liked it a lot too. And yeah, as Nick said, this is kind of the episode that basically kickstarts the main like plot of season 1, because with this, like whenever it comes time for a new mayor, Hop Pop remembers how Toadstool raised the taxes without telling anyone, and then that gets him to start to run for mayor.
Yeah,
And
it was
him
that
running
was
for
his motivation.
him running for mayor causes other frogs to start rebelling against toads, and so on and so forth until we get to reunion. And I just like how they made that, like, they were able to like do the like keep that story going without it interfering with like the plot of the episodes themselves plot. And yeah, Hop going from like this caring guy who cares about honesty and everything straight to claiming garbage can like cure your cancer and bring you back from the dead
Fix your
or whatever.
tongues.
Yeah.
Dryness.
Make your kid stop disobeying you. Like,
I mean, I'm guessing that that garbage potion would stop kids from complaining because they'd be
yeah,
they'd
they'd be
be
dead.
They'd be dead, yeah.
Yeah, they'd be a little dead.
Like it was kind of it was funny to see him just like switch from his two like morals. And yeah, at the end he's like, oh my god, I'm unemployed. And I think before that Polly's like, hey, you want me to eliminate the competition or something like that.
Oh,
Yeah.
it was that.
She says
Yeah.
some kind of
Okay.
she says some kind of like dark Polly moment
It
that
was
like
that was the one.
yeah.
That was the
And
that was the last episode.
Oh,
that's
she
just a
asks
great
if
Polly moment.
she asks Hop Hop if you want me to Click's tongue off Toady, I'll do it.
Yeah, I'll do it. You know I will.
Toady, yo, Polly's a bad bitch. I respect that, man. She'll kill.
And now she got legs, so she can do more.
Yo, let's go. Kick a kind of
But
growing.
yeah, a good episode, good like tie into future plot, and yeah, just for further expansion on like Hop Pop and other characters. I liked it very much.
Yeah, Hop Hop, like I know Nick and I talked about this a few weeks ago. Like Hop Hop tends to be the voice of reason or like the wise. He's the rational one until it gets to his episodes where we just see the irrational side of him.
Right.
And like, oh, go ahead.
Oh no! I was just agreeing. I was just agreeing with you there.
Yeah, it's really fun to see Bill Farmer just like cut loose, I guess.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I still love the scene when he's having like a mental breakdown, right? Like he's like, no, it's when she's about to drink when Sadie Croker's about to drink the potion, he's just going like, like he's losing it, like he's so good. Like Bill Farmer is so good at that.
And Hop Pop's so dramatic too, and we also get that like Hop Pop will just like blurt out the truth.
Oh yeah, he does do that a lot, doesn't? Oh wow.
Yeah, we
get
that
true. Wow.
We get that after the rain. We get that in Return to Wartwood.
taking charge, like
guilty.
wow, yeah, he does, like, yeah, because it all just, yeah, it just all boils up in him until he just has to let it all out, like
I
that
was gonna
he
say that
screwed
for my
up, that he lied to
thoughts.
someone, like, oh, you were, oh, yeah, see,
Yeah.
I just like the more, I just feel like the more, I guess, I'm not gonna say repetitive, but I just like, yeah, the more repeating ideas that we catch in the show, I feel like it's just sort of intentional. I feel like maybe some aren't, but I just feel like with Hop Hop, like it at least has to be. Like this is, I just like the fact that that's been consistent every single time he has this sort of lie that he's burying down. Like it's gonna burst out of him eventually, where he just has to say the truth to let it all out. Like that is actually a very consistent thing they do with this man.
I like that a lot. He because he has a lot of experience. He's been through there. He's been through there. After the rain showed, like he's been holding in a lot of guilt,
Yeah.
and it was done perfectly.
And
The stand was like a demo of his, was like a partial part of his guilt, because Mrs. Croker has been a loyal customer to Hop Hop for a long time, and even Mrs. Croker mentioned, "Oh wow, even this stand I've been on your stand ever since you were working there for your father," and like it's like the people of the town respect him a lot, and he doesn't want to let them down. But as more and more of the lies he came in, the more of the guilt was going to eat him alive, and I love that a lot.
Yeah, the Bill Farmer always kills it. Like it's just funny how like, yeah, like Hop Pop's like reveals, like, you know, like whenever he reveals that he lied about something, like it just starts off comedic until after the rain just slaps you in the face with like one of the show's saddest scenes, just like
And
him breaking down just on the ground, just admitting his screw up.
and
Like, yeah.
what episode did he bear the box? Was it episode?
Oh, it
Bizarre
was
Bizarre.
bizarre.
Bizarre,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
Bizarre. That's like episode, I think that's 17 or something. I'm not sure.
I think
Yeah,
that's like
yeah,
coming
it's
up
one of
or
the final
something.
episodes. Well, no,
Yeah,
it's going to be a while. It's going to be a while before we get the bizarre actually.
yeah, but imagine how long he's been holding that in up until after the rain. He's been
I
holding that
bet,
in a lot.
yeah,
I'm gonna
like almost 3 to 4 months.
Yeah, even
Couple months
with
at least,
Mars
yeah.
and with Marcy and when Marcy and when the temples came along, it's like, oh shit, I gotta get this box now. Like, there's so much guilt inside of him, and I wonder if that's gonna take place in season 3 as well, because we made a lot of theories about Dr. P being in the world. So we'll see.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
in
can't
this
wait.
episode. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Nick.
I mean, I was just like, I guess just this comes back to a lots of things I've said about Hop Hop. But I just feel like with him, almost like a lot of things about Hop Hop just come back to that tragedy that, like, you know, that befell the family like 5 years ago, and just I guess this is just like something me just rambling right now, but I just feel like it's just his strong connections to the family traditions. I feel like that just comes back. I feel like that just comes back to him trying to grasp some sense of, like, you know, stability after this huge tragedy that happens to the family. Because it's just like, what do people always fall back on? You know, when they feel like their whole world's just been like screwed up, nothing makes sense anymore. They fall back on some sort of system, some sort of codes, and like, come on, I mean, just look at this guy. Like, he's always quoting the Plantar family, like, you know, traditions. He's always quoting like their honor system. I just feel like that just comes from the tragedy that happened to him here. Because I mean, that's why I just feel like there's always so much pressure in him to, like, you know, uphold these rules that he follows.
Whoa, that's deep.
Like we see in this episode, like Hop Up has like a history of acting, and he's really good at it. But it just feels like he's too much of a planter to I guess pull off to pull off the charade, I guess, or the facade.
He's too nice,
And
and
he's too
then
good
like
at heart.
Well,
towards the end, he just I think they pretty much say it. He just gets caught up in the like acting of the the character he's in.
I just had a thought. What if his
Wow.
acting is like a way to like cope with all the guilt that has been like inside of him? Like how
But
like
I
I
know
would
his.
he's been
I would think that that could be part of it because I mean people who I'm no expert in like psychology or like traumatic experiences, but like
prime example is I deal with anxiety and like depression. And one way I kind of cope with it is like I do art, and when I do like some piece, I'm like, oh wow, I'm calm. Or like when I go outside, take long walks, that kind of calms me down.
I think Hop Pop's like acting career. I think predates like. I think it's something like he always wanted to do, and then like adventuring kind of like went hand in hand
Hmm.
with his acting career, and then like eventually like he settled down, I guess.
Yeah, it's just those ideas that just make me hold on to this idea that like he wasn't always like he didn't always follow like the Planters traditions to heart. It just feels so odd to think that's such a like an adventurous spirit, always out there, always getting into crazy stuff would I don't know, because I feel like just the idea of him like always following this tradition, it just feels like he should be staying in Wartwood, like he never ever left it. Like it's just, I feel like it's just sort of contradictory in a way. It just I wouldn't expect someone who's this adventurous to be tied to also be tied down by like the family tradition. So I just but I'll see if I have anything else elaborate on that. But yeah, it's just like every
I,
time we get a Hop Hop episode, I just have to think about that.
I mean, there is this idea with like youth, like when you're young, you can still like you have a couple of years where you can like branch out, but then like eventually you gotta like settle down. So I think that's like something Hop Hop probably did, and then eventually like settled back in Warwood for who knows how long, but still like went out regularly,
Yeah,
which
honestly,
is
it would like I would not mind a flashback. I feel like
That would
we
work.
could get a flashback episode in season 3. Like
That would
I
work.
wouldn't mind it. I wouldn't mind it.
That would work.
the
was
show has intentionally like obscured what Hop Hop looked like when he was younger, probably to avoid running into like continuity issues. Like in Grand Theft Auto, like when we saw a flashback of Hop Hop, like his face was covered up so you couldn't determine how old he was. And then like in Bazaar, we had like Hop Hop using like his wrecker, like the wrecker was like a disguise, so we don't know what he looked like beforehand. So there's like maybe it's something the show might explore or not, but they have covered their bases with like avoiding
Maybe.
any continuity issues.
Sorry.
Oh, sorry, go ahead,
Maybe
Pixels.
we can learn more about like what happened to the parents. If
or
I'm saying
who even were their parents? Like
right, I'm saying
I don't think we even know anything
I'm saying
about
if
them.
If the Dr. P theories are like right, if they're true, they might do a flashback episode like what happened like with the father, what happened to Sprig and Polly, what actually happened to Dr. P. That might be a really good flashback episode because and after the rain, it was structured really well about like what happened. It was quick, but it was also thorough right away. So
Yeah, so I think Hop Up mentioned that the book was in his family as long as he could remember, like the
mhm.
Calamity Box book. And then, I mean, if Dr. P is linked to the Planner family, then maybe they could have like some sort of flashback of like how the book was passed down, and maybe that would be like a good time to like show the book being passed down generation to generation.
Because the book mysteriously ended up in the library where Marcy found it in true colors.
Exposition
Yeah,
book.
and I'm looking back at the book too, and like, yeah, it does look pretty old because I was wondering like, how Like how old? Yeah. Like it's a pretty old book, honestly. And
Wait,
Right.
are we talking about the Calamity Box book, or are we talking about the Dr. P book?
I meant
Dr. P book. I mean,
Dr. P book.
Oh, I feel like the Dr. P book was something written in the human world, because like I'm assuming if it was in the library, it had some kind of like barcode.
Fair.
let's try that. I know that is fair. Honestly, who knows? I definitely feel like we will get
I
those
mean,
answers in season
yeah,
3 now. Like we
didn't
have
didn't the didn't the book Marcy was looking at have like didn't one of the pages have like Bill Cipher or something on it?
That was an
It could
Easter egg.
yeah,
That was an
Bill
Easter
Cipher,
egg.
Goliath. Yeah,
it
That
could
was
be
like
one of those like it could be one of those like Ripley's Believe It or Not books where it's
let
like
me see if
published.
I can find it. Or if
It could be like one of
Bob
those
can do
like
it.
it could be one of those yearly published books about like random oddities and strange artifacts, and it's like published on a yearly basis, and then Dr. P is like this guy who just or woman who just uh stumbled or crossed paths with something that belonged to, I guess, whoever previously owned the Calamity Box, because it was in the human world, which is
Yeah.
interesting to think about.
So Marcy found the Dr. P book.
Yeah. So magic and mystery, yeah.
And there was a Bill Cipher reference in there too, which is great because there was a Gravity Falls episode in that to show.
it's just Honestly, I thought the reference was funny. That I just feel like it's going to get the people who desperately want these universes to be somehow connected to make more theories. I just hope we don't see them again. But yeah, it really did plague the show in season 1. Is all I'm saying. Like so many theories about how Amphibia could potentially be connected to Gravity Falls.
Oh yeah, we'll get to those eventually. Like trip to the
Yeah.
archives. Yeah, we'll get to that. I mean, so yeah, in terms of like Planner's Last Stand, there wasn't really
Not much.
it wasn't really that much, but like just a
there's
lot of
nothing.
like tight continuity or tight like storytelling that was happening that just went over our heads at the
Yeah.
time.
It is pretty nice to look back and it's sort of like in a retrospective way, just seeing how fundamental this episode was for season 1. Like it's not like an outstanding episode, but like it is very important for the story. I feel like later on, and just I guess there's not too. I gotta admit, like I'm struggling here too because I just feel like there's just not too much to say about the episode. But
Remember
yeah.
that this is not a filler episode. There's no filler in this show.
Yeah, there's no filler. Like I wouldn't use that. I would never use that.
We're
Even
not
for
gonna use the F
yeah,
word.
even
We're not gonna use that
yeah,
for in this podcast.
like never ever. But like
Well, Pixels, you just did.
Ah!
Ban.
Oh no! Damn it!
yeah, but I
Instant ban.
I guess I can't say. I just love I just really appreciate the fact that I got to be on for Anne versus Wild because like I just feel like you and Liam are just really open my ideas to this idea that like Anne really was trying to become a member of this family in Anne versus Wild because I always pay attention to that, just how Anne's starting to help the family now, but it's like now she's doing it without complaints and she's generally trying to make this thing work out for work out for Hop Pop's business. Like we can it's just instead of just saying like instead of just saying screw it and trying to like ditch them, she's actually here trying to help them make their livelihood exist.
Yeah, and we didn't get much from like Polly got all of her one-liners, and Sprig wasn't. Well, Sprig got his music solo, but
Yeah, but Anne was just and just gave bad advice, but I guess she also had like good. I guess she also had like consistent characterization, I suppose. Just something like she's I just like the fact that Amphibia's keeping just that idea of Anne trying to be with this family, trying to help them out. They're keeping that consistent here. So I guess I like that. But yeah, there wasn't much to say about Anne this episode, honestly.
Yeah, and Sprig didn't get much of a like these last two episodes. Sprig wasn't that involved since dating season, but I guess after the mid-season finale, like we get Grubhog Day. That's yeah. I mean, yeah.
Oh man.
We get a lot of Hop Hop episodes. Like we've got like, was this Hop Hop's first like solo
I think
episode?
Yeah.
I guess so. Yeah, just an episode that's really just about him. I mean, because like there's Sprig versus Hoppa, but I feel like that was just more of like
That
a
was more
Sprig and
Sprig
Hoppa or
episode,
something.
yeah.
Yeah,
And then
but I feel
even like Stakeout was like a Hop Hop Ann episode.
yeah. So
Getting
yeah, this really is
charged.
yeah.
And getting charged was different. It was mostly an episode.
Oh,
But
even Taking Charge was like I think the first ensemble cast episode.
right. Where
Yeah,
all
that
of
was
them were
like in
together.
every one
Oh, I thought that was
episode.
Hop Block. Oh no, I thought that was Hop Luck though.
Oh, right. Hop Luck was the episode.
Yeah,
Okay.
Hop Luck. Yeah. Because I think this probably is Hop. Yeah, this really is Hop Hop's first solo episode. Then it's Hop Popular. Yeah, shit, Hop Hop really. Yeah, he really did
even-
have a lot of solid.
And even we have
episodes.
Hop Hop and Lock is also
Yeah,
Hop Hop episode.
God, they love using his name.
So many
They love
hops.
using his name like that. Hop
Gosh.
Popular, Hop Popular. Jeez. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, like Hop Hop constantly like flips. Like he easily. I don't want to say he's easily swayed to like the dark side, but like you can see like that he easily gets caught up in the moment, and like I feel like that's what makes him like such a like he's like the most relatable character in the show for me, because he's not like like Hop Hop is the most like that's why people love like this character so much because he's so relatable.
Yeah, I just feel like he's just. Yeah, I mean, there's a relatability, but I just really appreciate the fact that I feel like I've said this before, but I just appreciate the fact that like they're allowing like an elderly character to be this dynamic and actually influential in the plot. Like he's not just there in the background passing off wise advice. Because I mean, Hop Hop still does that. He still gives the characters advice and lessons, but like he still manages to be like an organic member of the cast. Yeah, he actually gets to be there too, doing stuff.
Yeah, I definitely think like Thea's treatment of Hop Hop as like it definitely spoiled me like compared to like other shows where like I mean even like in Gravity Falls and the Owl House, like I love Ida and Stan's characters, but like in the first seasons, like they really don't get like they don't really get the spotlight as much as I'd like. Because like for Stan, like it was intentionally written because like he couldn't be too involved in like supernatural adventure Sprig and not Sprig, Dipper and Mabel had. So like he couldn't really be too involved unless with like some exceptions like Time Traveler's Pig. And then like for the Owl House, like Ida's like we didn't really get enough with Ida. It was mostly like focused on Luz, just like justifiably. It was focused on Luz mostly. But then like in Amphibia, like Hop Hop gets like a solid amount of screen time, like segments dedicated to him, and like he's constantly always, but in like especially in early season 2, like Hop Hop is like the planners are always together. I really appreciate how the like ensemble cast they really utilize all the characters, I think, when needed, and each of them get their due. So I really like that.
Yeah, I mean, it really is season 2 that I feel like just really brings this whole sense of the family even like to a bigger height. Yeah, it's just something I've always appreciated Amphibia does. Like a show that's because I mean it really did it advertised the idea of this frog family. I just love the fact that like it is actually about the frog family for like a large portion of the series. But I feel like for other shows they'll tease you about this awesome group or family, but like we rarely ever get to see them together. But Amphibia sticks to that. And we get to just really see like how these characters can bounce off each other in like hilarious or emotional ways. And how I mean, like one of my favorite scenes of them all together, probably like a generic answer, but there's always like that one scene in Return to Wartwood where where they're basically just trying to pass the blame around and just yelling at each other. I always love it. I always love to rewatch that small clip.
Yeah. I guess any final thoughts for Planner's Last Stand?
Honestly, I mean, not much for me, but
No,
I
not
guess
really.
yeah. I mean, it's funny, and I like the fact that like I just like thinking that wow, this one wacky episode where this is as close as Hop Hop's going to get to being Grunkle Stan basically sets up the rest of the season. I do find it funny to look back and think about things like that, but beyond that, I don't have much to say.
All right. Then I think we can end off tonight's recording here. So thank you guys so much for giving your thought coming on today and giving your thoughts. And next week we'll be covering just another slice of life episode.
Yeah.
Most of you have heard of it. Toe Tax and Prison Break. Nothing major. Some lighthearted adventures.
Yeah, just
Yeah,
something small.
nothing special.
Oh
It's
yes.
exciting, man.
How many people do we have on next week for that?
It's like I think it's 5 right now. 5 right now.
Great. Oh man. Okay. Looking forward to that. So I guess, yep, that's it for today. See you guys next week. Say goodbye.
See ya.
Bye.